After absolutely drubbing the Oregon Ducks last week, Ohio State looks primed and ready to win a national championship on the backs of Will Howard and this offense's performance. But is what we're seeing from Will Howard a product of the offense, or is it him elevating everything around him? Let's dive into the tape and talk about what makes Will Howard the quarterback that he is now. Will Howard has been playing football for a long time in college, listed at 6'4", 235 pounds for Ohio State, transferred from Kansas State last year to go win a national championship, and they are on the verge of doing so, 2 games away from that. This is a nice throw outside the numbers to their guy, Jeremiah Smith. Now, what we see here on this play is a little bit of obvious attention to Jeremiah Smith as well, who's going to be running this inside outward breaking corner route. They're going to have a flat route to the outside on his side as well. Then on the opposite side, again, this is more of a half field read from your quarterback, Will Howard. A lot of what Ohio State does is half field reads, lessening the load for Will Howard. He will make some progression reads, but overall, it's a lot of half fields and then him just making that decision pre-snap, and you've got a little bit, this is more of a underneath route from Tate. So you're going to see, again, he's going to make that decision. But if you notice the defensive side of the field, they're going to have more attention to Smith. So that deep field safety here is actually going to be going to that side as well, vacating the deep middle part, more of a cover 3 shell. And you have this player right here, defender, is going towards that flat. So you have more attention on Jeremiah Smith in this regard. But this is what I like from this throw, is because, again, you're going to notice that he throws this above the rim, right? Let your big receiver go and make a play above the rim with 3 defenders now in the area. One of the things that I will say is that he tends to throw the football a little bit too late, and you see that maybe in the NFL, the underneath defender right here who breaks off the flat route, recognizing he's throwing it to the corner, might have an opportunity to come make that play. But the location is what I want to focus on. Again, how he's able to let his receiver make that play, locating the football up outside the numbers, outside the hash there. Really nice throw. Again, from the pocket, you see a little bit toesy. This is what I really want to focus on here. You see down here, he gets very toesy in the pocket at times as well, which can take velocity and, for the most part, all of that off of your drive throws. That ability to really generate power from the ground is not always on display and able to really throw it on a line to where he needs to. So we see the touch there from Will Howard, locating that football up and away, again, letting Jeremiah Smith make that play. So overall, there are some things that I would like to tweak about how he operates as a quarterback. This is a nice throw in that regard, being able to throw it outside the numbers there to Jeremiah Smith, who can bail him out of a lot of different situations. Now, he displays a good understanding and control of that arm talent as well, because he doesn't have the top tier elite arm strength, arm talent, but a lot of it does come to the fact that he has that toesy nature in the pocket, which can take some of that velocity off of it. So here you get a little bit of a pick play, right? You've got this receiver out here is going to come and just kind of pick off this defender here. As you get that outside motion from the running back up to the wheel route on the outside, you're going to notice, again, there's that motion. The defenders kick out. This was the defender, the underneath defender here. Right here. So you've got 2 players here that are end up being taken by this receiver here, who's going to come upfield and allow the running back to get out into the flat and then up downfield. This is a nice adjustment throw. So initially you've got this safety here, and this is where you see Will Howard looking initially. Right there, he's looking at this player. He wants to see what you're going to do so that he can throw this to the wheel. So we have hips moving this way initially, and that's all Will Howard needs to really do a nice job throwing this football down the right-hand sideline and layering it underneath that flat defender who's trying to trail. So a nice job of understanding, okay, that safety was going out initially. He's coming back to the middle of the field, and I can locate this, again, with good touch and ability to control, dial up and dial down the velocity and touch on his arm. Nice throw to layer that in front of the safety and over top of that underneath defender. So overall, he's got that ability to put the football where he wants to a lot of times from the pocket. I do think what we see from Will Howard's best, and when he's at his best, is in a clean pocket. So this is where you want to see he's operating best there. With the toesy nature that he has, he does have that tendency to throw football with too much touch at times, but overall, it's not a bad thing to be able to control and dial up and dial back that touch pass, and we see that location downfield, outside the numbers, as well as over the middle of the field where he can do that. As we mentioned, consistency from the pocket, and you're getting the best throws from that platform. that's where you see the lower half and the upper half need to be on time, right? And you want that lead throwing foot, the lead foot, to be in conjunction with the receiver you're throwing it, right? You want all of it going that way. So while he does have inconsistent footwork, he can be a little heel cookie. We were already seeing the toesiness in the pocket at times. Right here, this is a really good representation of how the quarterback, one, is going to showcase a little bit here to his wide receivers, to his offensive line, locating some guys. Number 22 here points him out, and number 27, James off the right-hand side of him. But watch the lower half stay with the top half. So he's looking to his left first, right? Foot is going there first, right? So you got eyes this way first, foot that way, all right? Now he's going to make another read right here, and you saw the eyes flick there first. Foot was there as well. Now he's going to go here with his eyes, and his hips and his feet are going to follow with him. That's another really good showcase of lower half and upper half need to be on time. Sometimes, if you guys look at players like Will Levis, the up top and the lower half mechanics are not on time always, and that's where you see a lot of the inaccuracies come through. So for Will Howard, when he is, again, operating at a high level like he has been the last 2 weeks, the lower half and the top half operate in the same rhythm. They get on time, they get moving, and then he starts to make those quick decisions, quick reactions. That was another really good example of him going through reads as well. So not all the time, but most of the time, what Ohio State does is more half-field reads, taking some of the mental constraint off of Will Howard. So all of that being said, there are some deficiencies in his game that are going to be a problem, not just going forward, but in the NFL. This play right here is a little bit lacking of the anticipation throw. So we're going to have a little bit of play action here. Heavier personnel, 12 personnel, but you've basically got a two-man route concept. Tate is right here, big bender, and then they're just going to run a clear out here. And they have this open over the middle of the field quickly. And again, Howard holds the ball right here. And this is where throw the football right now. This ball needs to be out right now. It needs to be going to him. The reason for this, and even though he completes this pass, is because you're going to get the football to your receiver with room to operate yards after the catch. So you see the football here, you see the receiver wide open, throw it to the B, let him go get the football, and then run into yards after the catch. And unfortunately, see, he throws, he holds, and then he throws his football to the sideline. It's a catch, it's a big play, but it's not what it could have been. That anticipation, that willingness to say the throw is there. They get all the defensive bite that they want. Look at all of these guys biting up on this play. He has to understand that this needs to come out quickly to generate that big play on this one. So the anticipation, while again, you see right there, it's not in his game. It's not really apparent, and he does hold onto the football. He's very much a see it and throw it quarterback. Doesn't really hurt him right here. On the other side of this is where it can come into play when you have, again, more pressure coming at him, when you have better defensive players and you have a better overall defensive scheme. You're going to come into some of those problems. So here, this is another anticipation type throw. He's going through reads a little bit better in this play, though, so that's what you also have to pay attention to. He wants Jeremiah Smith over the middle of the field, and Jeremiah is going to come up, lead this inside, and then turn around. He's going to generate some defensive presence there. He's going to have a lot of that gravity, right? We talk about gravity a lot and how you can generate players seeing out what you're doing. Then over on the trip side formation here, you have the tight end coming over the middle of the field, right? This is the throw that he's going to end up getting to. Emeka Ibuka is also right here. He's going to come over the middle of the field, curl right here, and you've got the flat route from this tight end attached to the line of scrimmage. So we're going to see him get to Jeremiah Smith first. That's where he's looking. Okay, physical safety is starting to get eyes on there too, so he stops. And this is where eyes come to the middle of the field. Comes right here. And this is where he's paying attention to. This player right here. But the problem here is that you've got this window over the middle of the field, right? You know that this is what you're looking at is going to be open with that safety, hips opened to the tight end, and you have to be able to throw this to a window now, especially because you know the routes, you know the concepts. Throw the ball. Throw it, and instead, he opens up a little bit more, gets his eyes closer to the right-hand side, and then takes a hit from a defender coming in, Moore, who's an underrated player. For Michigan, has been an underrated player for Michigan's defense this year. So here, again, eyes to the right-hand side where we see him going right now. And then he's going to kind of just stall too long. Throw that ball out now with anticipation of the tight end clearing the window, and he holds it a half second too long, and then it's incompletion. But that can turn into a tipped ball interception. It can turn into a sack, a fumble, all those things. So holding onto the football is something that Will Howard likes to do a bit more. We've seen that now with 2 plays in a row of showcasing that not anticipation enough to be able to get that football out. And while sometimes it's going to still turn out okay, other times, maybe against better talent, but against better athletes, you're going to find pressure turns into sacks and can be turnover-worthy plays. Talking about turnover-worthy plays, Will Howard's got a mindset that he can fit throws into windows that he can't physically make them. And now this one, he's trying to throw with a little bit more anticipation, right? He's trying to. The problem on this play is that the DB is just sitting on the route. He's not backing up at all. So recognizing that defensive cornerback is not actively backing off the wide receiver needs to be something that you see as well as a quarterback, and not throw this football in that direction. 12 is just sitting there waiting for it to happen. It's an out route by Tate again. But when you see, obviously his eyes are middle of the field first, checking the safety, boom, and then he comes to his right. But then he checks the player, sees that there's not much space coming out here, and he throws it anyway. So he thinks he can fit throws into windows that he can't all the time, and that's where the turnover-worthy plays come in. It hasn't hurt them a ton this year in terms of the turnovers, but Will Howard still has that mentality sometimes of, I have a better arm than I actually do, and then again not recognizing that corner sitting on the route, and then turns into an interception. So just some things to keep in mind when we're evaluating Will Howard, because there's still a good amount of tools that he has. I think that he's got a pretty good sense of how to use his arm, and when he gets the footwork and his lower half and top half mechanics all right and figured out, it looks pretty good. He's still athletic. He's on the move. We know that about him. So all that being said, there are still some desirable qualities about Will Howard that teams will find attractive, and he's going to have a big opportunity. Again, 2 more games left that they can win this week, and then you have the Senior Bowl, the off-season programs, and everything like that, where he's going to be able to showcase his talent. So Tennessee is doing a really nice job in this specific play of trying to game against Will Howard and show him one thing, and they bail out, and he does a nice job of confirming. So I want to give him credit here, because he does have time to come back to and confirm what he's seeing. Initially, you've got defensive players mugged up here, and then they just all drop out into a coverage. And then for Ohio State, they have honestly, I really like this design, this play call. You're going to get Emeka Ibuka out here on this deep, more like a dig route going towards the sideline. Then Cardell Tate's going to come out here on a big post route. Then you have a return route here from the underneath the tight end in the middle of the field, or whip route, not return route, Then to turn inside and come back out. Opposite side is just going to be running more of that deep dig on the backside, just in case he can get to it. So I want you to watch Egbuka as he's coming across the middle of the field. And this is one of the things that I would also have liked to see Will Howard do a little bit more. He's actually confirming what he sees. When he goes to his right read first, he actually looks back to the middle to see where the safety is, to see where the middle defenders are, so he can throw this football. And this is a good play. Again, it works out. But when you're seeing the intention of that safety, both here and there, you're going to have this player open up wide at the middle, towards the end zone for a big play touchdown. Now, would that have been a little bit different if his eyes went to the middle of the field? Maybe, but we also have to consider that the safety isn't moving at full speed, right? He's backing up and turning open, and Tate is running full speed. So you get attention on Egbuka. Both players go there. He can't know what's going to happen, so it is what it is. It would have been nice to see him get eyes on the corner route, the post route, and hit that for a touchdown. But I like what I see here from Will Howard confirming. Again, we had eyes here first. He's watching everyone back out, and then he's going to look out here next. And then he's going to come back, reconfirm what he's seeing, okay? Those guys are coming out, and then he's going to just take the shot, holds it, again, just a little too long, but again, a nice throw out there, really layering it, again, between those numbers. So we see in a couple of different plays where he can layer the football, especially to the outside numbers. I like to see that from him as well. He does hold it a little bit long, but this is one thing that I don't think that you can teach enough of for these young quarterbacks. They come in, again, he's going to just keep eyes on the safety here initially. He's like, if you're not backing out, I'm throwing this to the go route. And Jeremiah Smith is just somebody you want to throw the football up to, who does a great job here at the line of scrimmage, winning again. And Will Howard just drops this into the bucket. Beautiful throw, exactly where it needs to be. Again, that touch that he can put on the football from the intermediate spots, I think is fantastic. And we've seen him with the deep ball in this last couple of games, really showcasing what he can do. So the physical tools, 6'4", 235 pounds. He's mobile. He has this type of touch. The problems for me come more to where we see the inconsistency with the footwork in the pocket. He does get toesy at times. And then when your top half and your bottom half don't line up, the inaccuracies do come in. I didn't show you guys anything on the move because we know that he's a pretty decent athlete. We've seen it from time to time, but I want to focus on the quarterback that we're seeing right now. And he's not doing a ton with his legs. He's really just executing the offense. And I think that we're seeing with just throwing the football to Jeremiah Smith is a really good plan of attack, but we also have to consider that sometimes he lacks that anticipation along with the pocket footwork, holds onto the football a little bit too much. So I think he's playing at a high level right now. There are still some deficiencies in his game that have to be cleared out for an older prospect that maybe some teams are going to be more hesitant on. So I don't have a hugely high grade on him, closer to a top of day 3, end of day 2 type of quarterback, but the tools are there. I do believe that in the right system, he could lead an NFL offense and be pretty successful. And then we see some of that deep ball and the touch throws that he can layer in between defenders. So there are some really high highs and some low lows as we've seen in the tape there. So Will Howard has some things to work on. He's going to be able to showcase his talents in the playoff and then the Senior Bowl and the postseason and the offseason process as we lead to the NFL draft. So I hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown of Ohio State quarterback Will Howard. If you guys are new to the TDN channel, please hit that sub button right now. Hit the like on the way out, and I'll see you guys next time.